Yeah, the time.
And welcome to the 4 Point Plan. Here we are. It's episode 16, I believe, and today is October 18th, 2020. And we are back here again for the 4 Point Plan podcast. I am your host, JR, the punk rockist, superheroist, pro wrestlingist, drug counselor from Los Angeles, California. And I'm here with
Oh
my
fuck.
friends as always. First off, I want to introduce my buddy Guy. His name is not Buddy Guy. His name is Guy, and he is my buddy. And he is probably the most popular man in any 12-step meeting you would ever enter. I have been in meetings where the whole topic was "We love Guy." Hey, Guy, say hi.
True.
Hi, everybody. I'm Guy. I don't know how popular I am, but I'm here.
You are incredibly popular and you deserve it, man. You are awesome. Hey, and next up, as always, we got the toughest, coolest guy that I know. His name is Sean. Sean, say hi to everybody.
Hello. Good morning. I'm just trying to be that guy.
Aren't we all? One day at a time. We all want to be
What
like.
day it does?
I run a group at a treatment center, and I put different topics in all the time, and I try to make them funny. I actually write them just because I know Sean's going to see them, and Sean's going to be like, "JR, really? Is this the topic you used today?"
It was.
Sure enough, I turn in the one that says "Be like Guy," and they're both like, "Wait a minute,
And if it, I think a few months later you said be like Sean too in one of them.
yeah, we need to do a Be Like Sean group for sure."
Yeah, we had to have Be Like Sean also.
And
Guy's always number one.
the reason I always talk about Be Like Guy and Be Like
I
Sean
was first.
You
is
were first.
most of these dudes do the 4 Point Plan. These are 4 Point Plan guys. What is the 4 Point Plan? People are always asking me, JR, what is the
Yeah,
plan? It's go to 90 meetings in 90 days.
that's the
Get a
first one.
sponsor, use that sponsor, call your sponsor,
Sponsor.
get a home group, a meeting
Get a
that
home group.
it's a home for you. If you don't have a home group, what are you?
Homeless.
Homeless.
You don't want to be
Home
homeless.
groupless. Home groupless.
And last but not least, the 4 Point Plan is get a service commitment. Find a way to be a service to the program that saved your life.
Commitment.
Yeah, get a service commitment. Get a commitment. 90-90, get sponsored, get a home group, get a commitment. Say it, repeat it, believe it. Go to the 4 Point Plan website, 4pointplan.com, and you can read all about getting a home group, having a sponsor, having commitments, and going to meetings every day. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is the 90 and 90.
Or tell them the website again. You got to spell it out. It's not the numeral 4. It's the word 4.
People can get confused by that. So type in 4 Point Plan, spell it out, man, and you will get there. There's a lot of good information there and a whole archive of all of our podcasts. Uh, Go on it, click on it, enjoy it, share it with your friends, give it to someone that you want to save their life because the 4 Point Plan is the program to battle drug addiction and to help save people's lives. So let's get into this meetings thing, man. I wanted to talk about meetings today. I wanted to talk about the 90 meetings in 90 days. I love meetings, but I really have a hard time convincing people to go to meetings. I don't know why, because when I got sober, I had nothing but
Okay.
good meetings, man. Going to a meeting was going to some place where people were happy. And for a longest time, I didn't like me. Like I actually used so many drugs that I got to a point where I hated myself. I couldn't look in the mirror anymore because when I looked in the mirror, I hated the person that I saw staring back at me. And so by the time I was getting sober and going to meetings, I hated me. And the people in the meetings actually liked me. They would welcome me. They would give me hugs. They remembered my name. I remember finding it so strange because why would someone remember me? Why would they remember my name? If anything, they remember that I'm an asshole and they can't remember anything else. And turns out that's not what they thought at all, man. Those people thought I was pretty cool. They loved me. They cheered me on. As I stayed sober for 30, 60, 90 days, every time I would get up and take a keychain, man, they would cheer like crazy. And when I finally got to a year sober, man, and I kid you not, this is a true story. The first time I took the cake was Thursday night at a meeting I attended regularly every Thursday. And I got an extended applause with a standing ovation. I almost started crying because I was so embarrassed by what a huge celebration that my friends in the meetings were giving for me. So that's because I went to meetings, man. Like a lot of people go say, "Oh, I go to meetings, I don't fit in." I'm like, man, maybe you go to a meeting once every 2 weeks, or maybe you go to different meetings all the time. If you go to the same meetings over and over again, you see the same people over and over again. Even if they don't like you, man, they're gonna cheer for you. But here's the thing: they're gonna like you. You're all right, man. You think you're not all right because you did a lot of drugs. But once you stop using, once you stop drinking, man, you're a good person and people like you. It's okay, man. It's okay to accept that. I remember being creeped out because my sponsor would always end every phone call with, "I love you." And I'd be like, "What did you say to me?" "I love you." And I would say, I you too.
Yeah, I told JR I loved him one time after he shared at a meeting, and he looked at me like I was a wax statue.
Why are you loving on me?
He's like, "What? What?"
Yeah, they love us.
And that's the thing, man. People in the meetings are going to love you. So when you think, man, I don't want to go to a meeting, you really got to question what's behind that thought that you do not want to go to a meeting. And let me tell you something. We've already figured this out. Alcoholism and drug addiction are diseases, and they are diseases that live in your brain. This ain't some shit I made up for the podcast. This is some shit that we learned from the American Medical Association and the American Psychiatric Association. And what they have told us is we have a chronic relapsing brain disease. We have a chronic disease that doesn't go away, and it lives in our brain. And so when you think, man, I don't want to go to a meeting, you better stop and remember that you're thinking that with the same brain that has a disease of addiction. And my disease of addiction wants one thing more than anything else. Like it has a primary urge in my brain, and that primary urge in my brain is to do drugs again. It's
Get loaded.
drugs again.
Fuck JR, I love when you talk dirty. Keep going.
Ah, it lives in my brain, man. And so, what am I going to do to fight that? Well, I'm not going to trust that stupid brain of mine. It never got me into anything good. My brain was always getting me into trouble. I had some serious bad ideas. I like to say I was a bad decider, a bad decision maker. I am much better doing what I'm told. If someone tells me to go to 90 meetings in 90 days, and my brain tells me, don't go to those meetings, those people don't like you, those people are all lame, they're all stupid, look at the way they dress, they smell bad, do not go to those meetings. I better stop and question that same brain that told me it's okay to keep shooting heroin in your arms when you have a medically resistant staph infection. Even though the doctor told you that he wants to cut your arms off, it's okay to go ahead and stick a needle back in there. That's the kind of shit that my brain tells me, man. My brain's fucking fucked up. My brain is a liar. So if my brain says, don't go to that meeting, the first thing I better do is go to that fucking meeting. I need to put in some contrary action. I need to get into some cerebral reversal, as Bobby Knight once said. I need to turn my brain around because my brain ain't working. It doesn't make sense. I did so many drugs that it just gives me bad messages all the time. Heroin will make you good looking. I know girls that have relapsed and gone back to crystal meth because they gained weight. They thought, I'd rather be skinny and on drugs than fat and sober. You know, you could be skinny and sober too if you want to, but if you end up fat and sober, I'm fat and sober and I'm way fucking happier than I was when I was strung out and depressed, man. So I can't trust my brain. My brain tells me do drugs, don't go to meetings. So I don't do drugs and I do go to meetings because I know that my brain is a liar and I'm not going to trust it. I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to do what is best. And what is best is to go to 90 meetings in 90 days. We got this simple formula, this special recipe, the secret recipe, as someone once said. It says go to 90 meetings in 90 days, get a sponsor, get a home group, and get a commitment. And that's pretty simple, man. If I could just stick to that little simple 4-line script, then my life will continue to get better and better until I don't even recognize it because it's become so good, right? But if I go back to listen to that voice in my head, I know where I'm going to end up. I'll be skinny, sure, and I'll be shot out, sucked up, fucked up, sitting on a piece of cardboard in a puddle of piss downtown in an alley behind a dumpster with a needle in my arm and blood dripping everywhere, and my life will suck balls. I don't want to go back to that anymore. That life fucking sucked. I have an awesome life now.
Sounds attractive.
Yeah, say no to Skid Row.
I have an awesome life now, a life beyond my wildest dreams. I no longer hate the person in the mirror. I now love me. I'm a huge fan of me. I love me so much that I start a podcast. You know that you're an egomaniac when you start a podcast.
And t-shirts. You got t-shirts.
I got t-shirts with my picture on it. I will wear a t-shirt. Next week, I'll come to the show with a t-shirt on with my face on it, just in case you think I'm lying about it. I am a insane egomaniac. I was when I was using. I'm still kind of the same way. I have a little bit of humility, but not too much. My understanding of humility is knowing your true place in the natural order of things. And I've decided that my natural order of things is somewhere near the top. So I'm still an egomaniac, but I no longer want to kill myself on a daily basis. Now I kind of like me. I wish there was another one of me because I would hang out with me all the time. I'd probably invite me onto the podcast. That's what I would do.
Are those shirts available on the website, JR?
No, they are available on the website. But you know what would be cool? 4-Point Plan t-shirts. I'd love to get 4-Point Plan t-shirts out there and go to a meeting and see like 3 or 4 people sitting in the meeting with 4-Point Plan t-shirt. That would be pretty dope. Maybe in the future. Maybe that's something to strive for.
But not just us three.
The point is, we go to meetings because we love going to meetings, and we're trying to figure out a way to share that with other people, man. And that's what I want, man. I want people to stop using and stop dying and go to meetings, get a sponsor and a home group and commitment and get a better life. So if you guys got any ideas on what we can do to get more people to go to meetings, please share with me. What do you think, Guy?
Well, I like that you brought up your first experiences of going to meetings. You know, we didn't want to be there. None of us really do. We try to figure out like how we're different. We're not like these people. And guess what? We're exactly like those people. They're just like us. They're drug addicts. They're alcoholics. They will welcome you in because they know that they were once just like you, walking in there, new and maybe a little scared, maybe a little standoffish, like I'm too cool. Well, I'm not going to talk to anybody. All of that kind of stuff. But guess what? They're just like us. We are just like you. You are just like us. Let's do this thing together.
Guy, maybe you don't understand. See, I am different and special. I heard a song one time that told me I'm not like everybody else. I'm not like everybody else. So maybe I'm not like everybody else, and maybe it won't work for me. Maybe meetings work for you because you're a goober, but for me, because I'm special and different, maybe it won't work for me.
Well, I don't know if I ever heard that song, but I've heard one. There's even hip hop song. I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. I'm different. Yeah, I'm different.
Get it, guy. Get it.
See. Yeah, you know, we all think we're so damn different. And what I came to realize about after like a few months of going to the meetings, not wanting to talk to anybody, was that, fuck, I was probably just scared. Looking back on it, I can definitely see like I was just scared to talk to people about it. The people scared to let these people get to know me. All of those things, it's so silly looking back at it.
So if someone tells you, I don't want to go to meetings, meetings are stupid, meetings don't work for me, you should say to them, you just scared. You just scared, you chicken. You're too chicken to go to meetings.
Well, I don't know if that's the proper way to tell them that you're scared, but from my experience, it was a little bit of fear. You know, we wanted to just tell them like how we are so different. I don't know. We try to be so individualized, even though it takes a while to understand that we're all just the same in a lot of ways.
That's right, folks. You heard it here first on the 4-Point Plan podcast. If you don't want to go to meetings, you're a pussy. You're a big, fat, naked shit pussy. And that's why you don't want to go to meetings.
Life gets in the way. I'm too busy.
Oh, that's another good one.
You're supposed to live in the meeting, and then, you bring the world into your life. When I it took me a long time even to accept. I don't know if accept is the word, but I didn't even think I was alcoholic for a long time. I thought I was different too. I used to go to meetings and be like, I don't even think I'm like these people. But maybe I'll just continue going. I'll continue going because I knew I had some kind of chemical imbalance when it came to addiction, or I always made bad choices when I was drinking. Super bad choices. I'd black out, wake up in hospital or jail quite often, more often than not. So I knew that I just couldn't drink like other people, so I would go to the meetings and I thought that, I thought I was different. They're not for me. They're not for me until you see the bank teller share, you see the bank manager share and the bank robber share. I heard that at a meeting yesterday. Everybody's in the same meeting. So I don't know. I think a lot of it for me was a lot of self-centered fears that I didn't even know I had. Was that I wasn't comfortable in my own skin, or I feared what either one I thought of me, or two what you thought of me, and like JR said, my head just would tell me just fuck this, let's just go get loaded. Fuck these people. But the more I stayed, I did the 4-point plan, and my outlook started changing on everything, and so I'm not different.
I used to have a home group on Thursday nights, and it was a small home group. There were like 5 or 6 of us, and I loved this meeting. It was just us dudes. We were all really close friends, and slowly but surely, one of the dudes stopped showing up. And so, like, it'd be 2 minutes before the meeting, we'd start asking each other, hey, man, did you talk to that dude? Where's that dude at? Start texting and be like, hey, why aren't you here? And he would always come back saying, oh, I'm tired, or, oh, I'm busy. And I told him, instead of writing I'm tired or I'm busy, just type in the word excuse. And I know that you're coming up with some kind of bullshit excuse, right? So he started missing this really, really good meeting that he loved, by the way. Like he was a staple to it, but he started missing, man. And he was busy and he was tired and he had his excuses, right? And you know what happened, man? It was so fucking sad. He fucking started using again. And this is a guy that was lucky to be alive, because the thing that brought him back into the rooms the last time was when he did a speedball and had a fucking heart attack and had to go to the hospital. They barely saved his life. And he got clean for like a year, coming to that meeting regularly and other meetings too. He'd go to meetings every day. And then he starts making excuses, man. He stops coming to fucking that meeting. And the next thing I hear from him is he's calling me up saying, hey, man, can you help me get into rehab? And I'm like, I don't know, man. You kind of fucking been to rehab a lot of times here. You might want to check out a different rehab. He said, oh, I did check out a different rehab. It was in Orange County. And when they were doing the intake, they searched me. And when they searched me, they found that I had created this little belt out of Velcro that I wrapped around my thigh, and I had 2 syringes loaded full of heroin on it. I'm like, you made a fucking leg belt out of Velcro to sneak full of heroin into rehab? You fucking kidding me? Like,
I know. Put it in your ass, man. You won't catch it that way.
This is where you put your creative energy.
Like a guy. He's like,
you know how much easier it is to just stay clean? And then that's when I realized that people who are using drugs are actually insane. So you can't tell them something as simple as, hey, life is easier if you don't do drugs. Because since I got clean 12 years ago, I've never had to build a Velcro belt to wrap around my thigh to sneak syringes full of heroin into any place. But I can't tell him that.
Me neither.
So yeah, man, he just decided he didn't want to go to meetings anymore, and he told me, I just don't want to go to meetings anymore. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna start doing heroin again. He's like, no, I'm not. I just don't want to go to meetings anymore. And then he started doing heroin again. Fuck, man, I haven't talked to him in a long time. He's crazy as far as I can tell. I see him on Facebook, and I think that dude's crazy. but I don't think he's clean. And I don't know what to do, man. I don't know. People get tired of going to meetings. They listen to that voice in their head that tells them the meetings are terrible, they're for terrible people. And here's the shitty part, man. There is some terrible people at some meetings. You will meet some terrible people in some meetings. But there's also some fucking awesome people in meetings. And that's why I keep going, because I love those awesome people. I love that meeting Friday night, guy. You know, the one that you're the secretary of, the one that you have a commitment.
Yeah.
I love that meeting because the people there are awesome.
Good. I like
I
them.
asked for a commitment at that meeting. Guys said they were out.
No, I didn't say that. We have commitments at that meeting.
You know, if you're a pretty girl, you probably get a commitment at that meeting.
Yeah, I know. Hey, guy, can I be a virtual greeter?
Yeah, we have those too.
Oh,
We can get you one of those.
how do I sign up for a commitment at this Friday night joy recovery meeting?
You got to just keep showing up.
I show up every Friday.
Yeah, but you got to turn your camera on. That's another
I know.
Zoom meeting.
You got to have your camera on though.
I know. That's the only camera. I know. I was driving. I'm gonna work it out. I just don't want to go to meetings. I don't want to turn my camera on.
You know, I got a story. So I got asked to lead a meeting yesterday morning from this guy. He's the secretary of this meeting. This meeting's been going on for, I don't know, 12, 15 years, somewhere in there. And I really like this Saturday morning meeting. It was one that I liked going to when I first started going to meetings in my first year. And I had that little voice in the back of my head that you were talking about was telling me that, oh, these people, they don't really like you. They'll never ask you to share. They will never all the negativity about the people in that meeting. And the guy that asked me to lead the meeting on Saturday morning, I brought up during my lead, I was like, you know, I felt honored that he asked me to lead the meeting. And I remember when I hit my 1 year, my birthday fell on that Saturday. So I went to that meeting. Didn't think anything about it. I didn't even know if I was going to tell anybody. But this guy, who he was like a big, I don't know, you call him a head honcho or something in the meeting. And he comes up to me. He's like, hey, we're going to celebrate your birthday. I told him my sobriety date months and months before that. And he remembered this, and he has a coin. He gave me a 1 year coin. He said, we're going to celebrate your birthday. It's today, right? And I said, yeah, it is. He said, whoa, hot damn. He started getting he's a very animated guy. I like him. And he gave me a coin. And I brought that up on Saturday. And, you know, he's like, hey, guy, you know, I'm so happy you're here. And you stuck this thing out. He said, and he told me, he's like, I could tell you were a little standoffish, a little nervous about getting to know people in this meeting. And look at you now, he told me. And I said, yeah, you know what, Derek, that's exactly it. So I'm glad you brought this topic up. I just had an experience of how I became part of a meeting after I completely didn't want to. When I first went in there, I was like, well, you know what? F that guy. Fuck this guy over here. Oh, those girls are bitches. They're so cliquey.
They're bitches.
All of that stuff, you know, it was because it was a huge meeting. There was a lot of people, so I didn't know where I would fit in there. But you know where I fit in? Because I was a goddamn alcoholic, and so were they, and addicts, and that's where I fit in. You know.
You know, I popped into my home group yesterday, flipped it on, and my old home group, my original home group, the one I had for 10 years plus, and flipped it on, and there's something, my disease is working on me, man. It makes me hate that meeting now. And sure enough, man, I popped in there and I hated it again. And you know what? I behaved badly. At 12 years clean, I still got disease in my brain that wants me to get loaded. So it had me go into this meeting and act like an asshole. So here's what happened. The meeting itself was cool. The speaker was good, whatever. People started sharing. And this guy comes on to share. And this guy, he rubs me a little bit the wrong way. In a way, I like him because he reminds me of what I'm gonna be like when I'm a little older. But he's an old dude who loves music. So he goes on the Zoom meeting. He's in his little music room. He's got thousands of CDs on the wall behind him. He's got rock and roll flyers or whatever. But what he does is he'll share, and at the end of his share, he'll start fucking DJing and start playing music and dancing around on the Zoom screen. And
Yeah.
I wish this motherfucker would cut it out. Maybe someone else wants to share it and then we'll fucking dance around and listen to music, right?
Fucking hijack that shit.
Yeah, he took the meeting hostage so he could play some fucking Motown or some bullshit. So the first time he did it, I was annoyed, but yesterday when he did it, I sent a group text in the chat box, and all I wrote was "damn it."
So everybody's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
And sure enough, man, I saw a couple minutes later, someone else was sharing by now. He didn't actually do it for very long this time. He only did it for 10 seconds, but someone else was sharing. And then in the chat box, I saw it pop up and say, "I'm sorry if I upset you." And I didn't know if he was writing it to me or the whole group, but I had written to the whole group, damn it. So like he probably sensed that I was talking to him, and he was probably trying to be cool and apologize. But
You
I
fucking shot him down.
Yeah, I felt like the biggest. I felt so small. I was like, "Oh my, why am I such a dick?"
Did you turn your camera off?
I know I left the meeting. I was like, "Oh, Zoom, goodbye." Oh, because man, I could still be an asshole, man, and I gotta work on my steps. I gotta work on my character defects because I don't want to be an asshole. I want to be a kind and loving individual, and I should have plenty of patience for some weird old dude that wants to play music in meetings. It shouldn't bother me so much, but sometimes I get high and mighty, and I think I'm the king of NA, and my way is the only way, and because I'm not playing music. You know what? I act like an asshole in meetings too, man. I'll be sitting there in the Zoom meeting, putting on my pro wrestling mask, pulling out my heavyweight championship belt. Like I'm a fucking idiot. I know that. So why can't I let this guy be an idiot too? Who the fuck do I think I am?
Well, I'm glad you could see that. And you know what? We all got to work on our attitudes. Everybody in usually the meetings, everybody in the world has to work on their attitudes. And we're going to get some different personalities, and you know what? At least the one thing is that we're all there. We're all trying to stay sober. And if we can just put the personalities aside, not just for ourselves, but accept somebody else's personality. No one's going to be perfect all the time. And they're not going to do things exactly the way we want to. But you know what? We're in the meetings together. We're trying to stay sober together and clean together. So, all right.
That's the important message, man. The meetings are saving our lives. Like before I came to the program, I was killing myself, and I tried every other thing. I tried doctors, I tried churches, I tried therapy, every other thing, man. The only thing that saved my life, the only thing that got a needle out of my arm, got me to sober up, stop shooting drugs, was to go to meetings. So here I am with 12 years clean. I think I'm all fucking arrogant, think I'm all awesome. I go into meetings and I start being addicted to people. That's not cool, man. Like the meetings saved my life. I need to go in there and remember to stay grateful, man, because a grateful addict will never use. So I need to go to the meeting. I need to be grateful. I need to be good to people, man. Especially, I got some time. A newcomer sitting in that meeting watching me act like an asshole. They're going to say, wait a minute, I don't want to stay sober for 12 years because maybe then I'll become an asshole. So I got to remember that, man. Keep perspective and start being good to people.
Well, this was good. This was good.
That's right. That's a good way to look at it.
So,
and
I knew what it was. I got a disease inside my brain that wants to do heroin. It's all it wants. 12 years later, man, it's still in there. It's trying to get out, man. It's trying to get out. Say, come on. Why do you keep going to meetings? These meetings are stupid. Look at this fucking asshole. Look at this dude dancing around playing music. Fuck him, man. You should go back to shooting heroin downtown.
Yeah. We don't need to dancing around.
Say no to Skid Row, JR.
When we were shooting heroin, no one ever bothered us dancing around on a Zoom meeting. Yeah, that's because we didn't have a computer disease. It's clubbed. We had sold everything we ever fucking owned. We lived alone in an apartment with no power, no electricity, no heat, no hot water. All we had was like a pencil and a paper. And we're like, oh, this is all I need. I could sit here and entertain myself for hours and just
Apartment.
all
You
the
got an
time.
apartment?
Yeah, well, it's empty.
It was empty. It
And
wasn't
Yo-
his.
Was it yours? Yeah. Whose name was it under?
Oh no, my name was not on it. No, for sure. You know what, man? When I was using, that was one of my dreams. Someday, I hope I can sign a lease. What I tell you guys, if you stay sober long enough, you too will pay
We'll
back.
have bills. It's true. You told me that a long time ago.
And now you got bills.
I definitely have bills, and they're all paid up on time,
Nice.
Good.
which I learned from the 4-point plan in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous.
And you know what? That is actually exceptional here in Los Angeles because, fuck, man, it looks like half the people in our city live in tents on the streets now.
Right.
The fact that we live indoors is pretty fucking amazing.
Hmm.
If I could just get rich and buy a big house. We gotta get those 4-point plan t-shirts printed up. Come on, guys. Woo!
I'm sure, you,
Put me
Sure.
down.
I'm sure you'll be today.
Hey, imagine if I got rich off the 4-point plan. Do you think AA would sue me?
No.
Because, I mean, don't tell anybody, but this was not the most original idea of all time.
Okay.
You
You didn't invent this?
It's my 4-point plan, but did you guys know I was sitting in a meeting one time and the leader of the meeting was speaking and he shared that he had gone to 90 meetings in 90 days and he never missed a day. He went every day and then he got a sponsor and he called that sponsor every day and he got a home group and he was a service at home group. He got a commitment and I was sitting there the whole time he was telling the story and I was like, oh my God, that's the 4-point plan. I pulled out my phone and pulled up the website and was showing my buddy next to me. I was like, look, he said all 4 of the things. He said them all. As if I invented it.
It's such a foundation, you know. I don't know if you caught one of my sponsees was sharing.
Your sound went out, guy. We can't hear you, buddy. He's still silent. So Guy was talking about his sponsee. He was a huge fan of the 4-point plan, and I love that he's teaching his sponsees about the 4-point plan. Are you back, buddy?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes. So tell us, your sponsee.
Yeah, so this guy was one of my sponsees was sharing at the meeting the other night, and like how important it was that he was just dove right in and started going to meetings every day, and this and that. And he's all that foundation just kept me going. It allowed me to just keep doing this thing. And he was talking about the 4-point plan without even, I was picking up on it. And I don't know if you were too. I think you were in that meeting.
I was.
Yeah, he was just talking about these 4 things. He was talking about his commitment. He talked about, the meetings that he was going to each and every week. There was a certain core of them that he wouldn't miss those meetings. That's his home group. Those were his home groups. He had more than one, and you can have more than one. When you start going to meetings every day, you're going to probably find a couple meetings that you really like going to each and every week at that particular time, and that will become your home group.
So when you bring on sponsees, Guy, is that your requirement? Is to do 90 meetings in 90 days?
I do suggest that to them. I suggest it to them. I say, hey, look, I've seen some people do this. It seems to work.
But even if they don't do 90 meetings in 90 days, you'll still sponsor them?
Yeah, I have. And I don't know.
Fucking jail.
I know that when the guys that do these 4 things, I've seen them, they've made it. So
I've sat with Guy at a meeting where he had 2 sponsees there, right? And so I'm sitting with Guy and the 2 sponsees are in front of us and Guy's like, that one does the 4-point plan. He's doing good. That one does not do the 4-point plan. I don't know about him. And so the other one kind of fell off, man, disappeared. But that 4-point plan guy, man, he's still fucking here, man. He got 10 or 11 months. He's killing it, man. Start with the 4-point plan, still goes to lots of meetings, secretaries meetings. That dude is badass, man. I love your sponsee guy.
Yeah, he's doing the deal. He took the actions early on and it started paying off for him later on. Right now, he's coming up. I think next week he's going to hit 11 months if he makes it. I have a feeling
No front, yes, 10 months.
no fronts, and
he's well into his 11th month.
he's doing the deal, man. That guy, he's still going to meetings because we got this Zoom format right now. He can catch a meeting every day still. He did the 90 and 90 and he keeps going. He's going to be going. He's like 300. He got 340 days now of like 340 meetings. He just keeps going.
That's the secret of the 90 and 90, man. It just gets you in the habit of going to a meeting every day. Sean went to a meeting every day for his first year. I seen his ass every day at meetings. And that's 90 and 90 turns into 365 and 365. It's a beautiful thing. And what did Sean got a dog? Sean got a dog. So what do you get from going to meetings every day? What's the end result? Well, let me tell you where it started for us, man. All of us, Sean, Guy, JR, like we had fucked up lives, man. We very easily could have been one of the millions of people in Los Angeles living on the street, living in our car, living in a tent. I've been homeless before and I never want to be homeless again, but you know, I never dreamed that I would have the life that I have today. And I owe it all to the 4-point plan. Like I thought for sure, man, I was going to be fucking homeless forever. Never afford to have bills. I would never drive a nice car. I wouldn't even have a good phone, man. I have an Obama phone. But back then, man, when I got sober, we didn't even have Obama phones, man. Like only high rollers had phones back then. Now, normal people had phones, just to me, because I was so broke and so fucked up. You know, I didn't think I would ever have anything in life, man. And I really do have a life beyond my wildest dreams. I shake my head on the daily, man. I can't believe that I live in a nice house. I drive a nice car. I go to one of the top colleges in Los Angeles, one of the top colleges in the country, really. I'm living a life that I never dreamed I could. And it's because of the 4-point plan. I would have never learned how to get a bank account or get a cell phone or pay bills or buy a car, any of that shit, man. And it wasn't that NA taught me how to do that shit. NA taught me how to live life without drugs. And what people who are on drugs don't understand is that people who are living the life without drugs have an opportunity to have a better life. It's you see things different, you experience things different, you get different opportunities. When you're just fucked up, sucked up, strung out, man, your best opportunity probably is to go to rehab again or go to detox again. Like it's not to get into college, man. I had to get into college. You know what that was like, man? Writing an essay and filling out applications on top of each other and all that shit, man. Getting good grades, you know. In order to go from the university onto Pepperdine College, I had to get really good grades. So I graduated from Cal State Northridge last year with honors. I got to go to the honors ceremony and everything. That was fucking cool. That's, you know, that is not the JR of 2007. The JR of 2007 is in a fucking puddle of piss downtown LA, fucking sticking a needle in his arm, blood squirting everywhere, fucking doctors telling him they're gonna cut his arms off. Like I had a fucking nightmare of a life on the daily. And by doing these 4 things, man, by diving into the program head first, man, I got a life better than I ever dreamed. Everyone talks about trying to get sober in Alcoholics Anonymous, and when someone relapses, that they fall off the wagon. Well, famous student in NA, Tony D, teaches that the way to keep from falling off the wagon, man, is to stay in the center of the wagon. How do you stay in the center of the wagon? You do these 4 things, man. You make sure that people see you at meetings every day. You make sure that you call your sponsor all the time. You make sure that you have your home group and you never miss your home group, and you make sure that you get into service, man. And people say, oh, get a commitment. Just, I'm the greeter once a week. Hey, that's fucking great, man. You're the greeter once a week. Fucking big deal. Why don't you get the secretary commitment twice a week? Why don't you become the coffee guy for 3 meetings? Why don't you make yourself indispensable so that a meeting can't fucking exist if you ain't there? Maybe that'll help you stay sober, man. Give yourself reasons to go to meetings. This is what I'm talking about, man. I want to figure out how to make people go to meetings. And if a person makes the decision themselves to go out and get a commitment or get 2 commitments or get 3 commitments at 3 different meetings, well, then they've come up with a reason themselves to go to 3 meetings that week, right? And what I'm into is going to a meeting every day. So if that means getting 7 commitments, get 7 commitments. What me and my friends did, I had 6 commitments during the week. And then there was one day during the week that me and my friends would get together and we would go to a meeting out of town. We'd drive up to Ventura. We'd drive down to Long Beach. We would once a week go out to a meeting out of our area just so we could enjoy recovery all over the place. So find a reason, man, to get into a meeting. Find a reason to do 90 and 90. I know that your brain wants to do drugs. It wants to drink. It wants to get reasons not to go. Don't fucking trust it. Don't listen to your brain, man. Go to meetings every day. I don't know exactly how to convince you, man, but I know that you will get a better life if you do it.
At least go get the free coffee and donuts. Go hear a message.
Wait, they got free coffee and donuts?
Oh, yeah, every meeting. Free coffee and donuts.
Fuck, I heard they have cake.
Attraction and cake too. They have cake.
Fuck, I love cake.
What kind of cake, Jar?
Obviously, I love cake. I told my sponsor, I said, man, if I get COVID, make sure you take me to the beach and throw me in the water somewhere near a shark, because I really don't want to die from COVID. I'd rather get eaten by a shark. You know what my sponsor said to me? This was last night. We had this conversation. You know what he said to me? He said, it better be a big shark with a big appetite.
There ain't no snack.
Sharks don't eat whales.
I like that.
You're not even fat, JR. I don't get it. Why are you so hard on yourself?
No, I'm bigger than I used to be. I'll tell you what, when I was on drugs, I was skinnier than Guy.
What's a gift to sobriety?
Yeah, I have grown in recovery. About 100 pounds.
I love going to outside meetings or out of the area. It's like being on a basketball team at school and then traveling to another school and you're like, oh, I'm a basketball player too, but I'm from another town. I love going to different meetings outside of my area. Just like the joy of sharing the joy of going to different meetings because it's the same message, different people. It's almost easier to share it at other meetings because nobody really knows you. But
yeah, when you brought that up right now, I got excited too. I was like, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. Start hitting some meetings outside of the area.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, right now we can hit meetings from all over the damn world with this Zoom format. We're going to meetings. I've met so many people from around the world, especially around this country, by doing this Zoom format. And I know if you're new listening to this, it might not be your thing. You're like, man, I can barely sit here and listen to these guys on this podcast. But you know what? We do it. We watch, I'm sure you guys watch movies. Not you guys here, but you out there in the world. You watch movies. You have a favorite TV show. You watch something on a goddamn monitor. And that's what this is. Except guess what? We're talking about recovery. We're talking about saving your ass. Talking about you getting out of your own misery. Zoom meetings, give them a chance. Give anything a chance that's going to save your ass and get you out of that.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's going to save your life. Like, do you want to die? Like, I know that feeling of wanting to die, man, but wouldn't it be cool if there was something that you could do that would make you want to live? And that's what it was when I was new, man, going to meetings. It made me not want to die anymore. And when I would consider relapsing in my early 30 days, 60 days, right? When I would think, oh, maybe I should go get one, I would say, no, I'm not going to go get one because I will die. and I don't want to die. Like things just seem to keep getting better every day that I stay sober. Now, if I stay sober for another 30 days, how much better is my life going to be? You know, what if I stay clean for a whole year? How good is my life going to be? I remember getting real excited about what will I look like in a year sober. I didn't know I would gain a bunch of weight, but I did know that it would be better than what I had, man. Because every day I wanted to die, and then I started wanting to live, and that's a good reason to go to a meeting every day, man. Because for me, going to a meeting every day saved my life. If I did not go to a meeting every day, if I decided to take some days off and stay at home, well, that disease that lives inside of my brain, man, it used to scream at me at very high volumes when I was early on, and it would have convinced me to go use. Matter of fact, I don't know if I told you this story or not. When I had about uh, 6 months clean, maybe a little less, I had a toothache. Before I got clean, I had a motorcycle accident where my helmet hit the curb, and I didn't get seriously injured, but I broke off a lot of the teeth in the back of my mouth, and so I never gone to the dentist for it. So underneath the gum, the tooth still existed, and those teeth that were underneath the gums had gotten infected. So I had this really severe infection, and it was really, really painful. So one night, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I am up, tears are streaming down my face because I'm in so much pain. And I knew that my drug dealers would start walking the streets and selling heroin at 5 in the morning. So I made the decision that I was going to relapse. Here I am, early in recovery, I'm in pain, and I have decided now that I am going to relapse. And I also understood that anytime I had ever made that decision, I had never changed my mind. Like I figured it was a done deal because I had already decided this is it. I'm going to go get some heroin. So they had brainwashed me in NA to call people before you use. So I actually called a friend of mine at 3 in the morning, and he gets up at 3 in the morning. He's talking to me on the phone, and I'm like, "Listen, man, I've already decided. So there's nothing you could say that'll stop me from using." But um, I, I was supposed to call somebody before I did it, and so I called you. And he said, "That's cool, man. I understand. I'm not going to try to change your mind. I understand that you made the decision, but I do want to tell you a story about decision making real quick. There's two birds sitting on a wire, and one of the birds decides to fly away. How many birds are left?" I said, "One." He said, "No, fool. There's two birds left because it only made a decision. It did not take the action of flying away yet." And that was so profound, and it hit me so hard that I believed him. And I decided to stay sober that night. I decided not to use, and I didn't use. And that guy saved my life with that shit. So
Yeah, he saved your life because you made a connection with him. But at that point, by that time, you started going to enough meetings. You were able to reach out to somebody that you met at those meetings. You probably one of those meetings was your home group. You were probably had some kind of a service commitment at that meeting. Look at these things, how they all tie in together. You know, you made you didn't just make the decision to call that guy to talk to him about to tell not even talk to him. You were going to tell him that you were going out. You didn't make the decision. You took action and actually talked to somebody. And look what happened. You didn't go out and fucking throw it all away.
Bird stayed on the wire.
yeah, I stayed on the wire.
Stayed on the wire, JR. You might
Remember,
not be here today if you didn't.
if you want to relapse, if you want to use, call somebody first. Don't call us after you use because there's nothing we can do after you use. You already used. Usually you're just going to sound dumb when you're high and you call us up and you're like, "Oh, man, I used."
I don't know why I did it.
Oh.
Sorry, man. I remember one time, man, I shot a fucking speedball into my hand and I hit an artery.
And you missed.
My hands swelled up like sausages. Like my fingers, like sausages, all ballooned up, right? And so I called my friend who was in the program, and I was like, "Hey, man, I hit an artery. I shot a speedball in it. Now my hand feels like it's going to explode. What should I do?" And he said, then you really gotta stop shooting dope. Like, I know that part already. That doesn't help. What am I gonna do about my hand? Looks like it's gonna explode.
Did you turn black?
No. He said you gotta stop using. I do got a pretty bad scar from it though. I can show it to you on Monday, Tuesday.
I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah, man, but I called him after I used, and there's nothing he could tell me except stop fucking using, man. Just stop using. Jesus.
How about you stop using?
You gotta put your hand up, you're gonna die.
Stop shooting speedballs for breakfast, JR.
Whatever, man. I'm glad because people die, man. This is a deadly disease now, and we're getting reports. You know, because we work in recovery, because we go to a lot of meetings, we're hearing about somebody almost every single week dying from an overdose now. It is ugly. It's hideous out there. The fentanyl epidemic is ridiculous. I got people coming to me now saying my drug of choice is fentanyl. I'm like, what is wrong? Why would you choose that one? It's like, my drug of choice is strychnine. I like to eat strychnine every day and just, I haven't died yet, but usually people do die. So like, I don't understand, but I do understand because I understand what it's like to not care if I lived or died. So if we want people to go to meetings, man, I think we have to do two things. One, we have to convince them that they have a life worth living. And two, we have to convince them that the meetings will save their life. So that's a double thing, man. And I don't know how to prove it to him. All I can say is I know what that feels like. I've been there. I was just like you. I went to meetings every day, and now I have a life that I wouldn't give up for anything. So you guys got any ideas, man, on how we can convince people to stop using and going to meetings every day?
And we told him there's free cake, ice cream, and donuts. What more else do you want? It's sobriety.
Cake. We told him about the cake already.
Yeah. By the way, did I mention the cake?
Just dive in. If you want to save your life, if you want to stop that miserable feeling going on, if you want to just try something else, just try to go to a meeting.
A lot of the people I work with are homeless, right? They don't have a car or anything. And so I started telling people that if they went to the Pacific Group, which is like this really nice part of AA in Los Angeles, I told them if you go to the Pacific Group for a year and stay sober, they'll buy you a car. It's not true. I was totally fucking lying to them. But I'm down to say anything to save their lives, man. I am really, like, I promised them I'll change the 4-point plan. Like if they do the 4-point plan for 90 days and it doesn't work, I'll change it. It's like the Pepsi challenge. I've had it out there for a long time, for actually years now. The challenge has been out there for years. You guys remember when you first met me, I was like, I challenge you, do the 4-point plan. If it doesn't work, I'll change it. And so far I've not had to change it because it works. You guys did it. It worked for you. I got more people coming up the pipe that it's working for, man. It's amazing.
Well, we've got to be patient and just continue bringing awareness to it, and eventually, hopefully, it'll get out there.
Hey, I saw your friend yesterday, Sean, at work. Oh, no, was it Friday?
Who?
I can't say his name on the podcast, but I saw your friend on Friday. You called me on my phone and said, hey, did you see our friend? Right? And that just looks amazing. He's got a year clean now, right?
Oh, yeah. No, he's got almost 2 years. He's got a little bit less than me. So, yeah, he's got a year. So, yeah, he's got a year.
But he's a meeting maker, man. He's a 4-point plan guy.
Yeah, definitely.
He's got a solid recovery foundation, man. And
yeah,
he's got a life worth living.
Yeah, there's like 6 or 7 of us that are solid. They have a solid, sober foundation, and it started with the meetings. It is what it is. I went and I didn't understand I didn't understand AA. I didn't understand all the shit. I didn't need to. I just went there and I listened. I just sat there and listened. I was like, 90 days. I got 50 days, 55 days, 56 days. By the time I got to 90, I still had a shit to do because from the other 7 meetings, so I had to continue to go because I can't stop doing a commitment because I told them I was going to be there. Yeah, it's a little trick.
So you had commitments a week?
No, I had 7 a week.
7?
And my 90-90, I had a commitment at every single meeting. So by the time you get to your 90-90, all the meetings are at least 6 months. So your 90-90's up, you still have commitments to every meeting. So do the math. You're not going to stop going.
You got to keep going.
You got to keep going.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, because then the commitments renew after 6 months or a year. So you're getting down. You understand what I'm saying here? Do you want to live or do you want to die? Do a fraction, you will die.
I went to 5 meetings. Well, there's 7 days in a week, right? So that's 5 over 7. Do you know what that is? That is a fraction.
Fraction. Fractional living.
What they say in AA, guy? Half measures availed as what?
Nada. Nothing.
Naughty boo.
I think that's in all A's, isn't it?
No. We don't think about half measures in NA because then we'll start thinking about scales and syringes.
Yeah.
I can do a half measure, get me there.
I thought I heard that in AA too, no? It's only NA format?
No, we don't talk about half measures, brother.
No. So if I say that at an AA meeting, people are going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're going to be like, oh, it's one of those alcoholics. You know, sometimes people that regularly attend an AA meeting, they'll go to an NA meeting and they'll identify as an alcoholic, and then you'll hear them go,
or AA meeting, people go, oh, I'm an alcoholic addict. And everybody's like, oh.
I tell people that I have embraced my bisexuality, that I am Anna. You call me Anna because I am an alcoholic and an addict.
And Anna?
Hey, whatever, get in where you fit in, man. Whatever will keep you clean. I don't care. You can go to Refuge Recovery, Celebrate Recovery, Recovery. I push AA and NA because they're accessible, man. You can find yourself an AA meeting probably in your neighborhood and probably every day of the week. We live in Los Angeles, man. We never have to drive more than 5 minutes and we'll be at a meeting.
Yeah, whatever you like, just do it. A lot of it. Do it a lot. And guess what? It might stop helping.
Except for drugs.
Substance. Yeah. Whatever type of meeting you like going to, whatever, all the ones that JR just named. Okay, cool. Pick one you like it and just keep on going.
Yeah, and you can go to all of them if you want, man. If you got the psychological measure to accept yourself as alcoholic and an addict, do them all, man. I know a lot of the CA people that I know enjoy attending AA and NA as well. I regularly for years attended a Heroin Anonymous meeting because, a couple of reasons. Because they're good meetings. They always have cool titles for their meetings. I went to one named The Dark Side of the Spoon for over a year. I love that HA meeting.
I went to a CA meeting called The Dark Side of the Spoon.
Nice. See, they make up funny names for it. There's a good reason to go. But also, I liked HA because with my, at the time I had 6 years clean. With my 6 years clean, people were like, oh, wow, I didn't even know you could stay off heroin for 6 years. So it worked for me, man. I love that program. I love those meetings. I love NA. That's the program I went to. It saved my life. And now I regularly attend AA meetings because they have nicer cards, and I finally have a nice car. Took me a long time to get a nice car. Now that I have a nice car, I feel accepted in AA.
And you know what? They accept you.
They do.
You know what? And they love you, JR. They love you. Say it back.
Say
it back.
They love me. Have you guys noticed, man, at that Friday night meeting, I'm starting to grow on them. They're starting to like me there.
Tell me you love me.
They're starting to call me and stuff. It feels good to be a part of, man, to fit in. I never fit in before. I was a lone wolf. I was a one-man wolf pack before.
I love you, JR.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you guys. I love you guys because you
love you guys.
You're my best friends. You keep me excited about recovery, and I know that I never have to use, man. If I wanted to get loaded, I'd call you guys first. And you guys would figure out a way, man, to help me stay sober for just one more day. That sometimes is a secret, man. Just getting one more day. Just make it to the pillow tonight without picking up. If you can make it one more day, man, then you could stay on the wire without flying away, right? You can do this. And then you can make it to another meeting tomorrow. And you go to the meeting and you share, hey man, I wanted to use last night. And people be like, well, I'm fucking glad you didn't, man, because we love you and we want you here.
That's right.
True.
So, hey, I think we're coming to the end of another 4-Point Plan podcast. But today we were talking about, why do we go to meetings? What do we do if we think we don't want to go to meetings? The truth is, man, just go, man. Just go to meetings. I know not every day you feel like it, but if you go to 90 meetings in 90 days, you will program your brain. Last year, I did another 90 in 90 just to prove to myself that I could, just to prove to all of you that I could, man. And I remember the Warriors, my favorite basketball team, were in the playoffs, and I was sitting there on the couch, and the Warriors game was coming on, and I was like, man, I really want to watch this Warriors game. And then it was quarter till, and I stood up, and I grabbed my car keys, and I walked out the door, and I was like, wait, what am I doing? And I got in my car, I started driving to the meeting, and I'm thinking, what am I doing? Because what happened, man, was when you go to a meeting every day, you train your brain, man. It just bypasses your prefrontal cortex. It's just a memory thing that goes on in your limbic system, and you just do what you have trained your brain to do. And I trained my brain to take me to a meeting every day. And so even if there was something else that I was thinking I wanted to do, what was important, man, was I did 90 meetings in 90 days so I could save my life, so I could teach all you guys about saving your life. So go to meetings. Train your brain to go to meetings. If you don't want to go to a meeting, that means you definitely need to go to a meeting. Going to meetings saves lives. What do you think, Sean?
Yes, it saved my life. I mean, the whole training part, like when you train your brain, is so valid for me because I mean, now with coronavirus now, I mean it's obviously hard to go to meetings, but I mean I still go every day, 5 days a week, including this podcast. It's not like it used to be, but we'll be back there. We'll get back there. But yeah, I used to, in the beginning, Mike, I was never on time anywhere. I was always 7 to 15 minutes late everywhere. So I started going to meetings after I got sober. And next thing you know, like I had to set alarms, like multiple alarms, so I wouldn't miss it. Because every time you were late to a meeting, I had to share about it, of why I was late. And I got tired of sharing. So I just started setting alarms for earlier and earlier. And I would just show up and I would be there. And before you know it, it trains your brain, and you will end up, you just know you have to go to the meeting. It's still embedded in me today. And meetings are so important; they're vital. You learn from other people's experiences, and just go to a meeting.
Guy, you're a big meeting maker. What do you think?
I say, why not? Why not? Stop listening. Stop listening to that little guy back there that's telling you to not do this thing. You have nothing to lose. Just keep going. You will get your life. You will get to know people. Why not?
If y'all are listening to this podcast, listen, you will find Guy and Sean and JR at meetings, man. That's what we do. We go to meetings. We love the program. We are into saving our lives. We're into helping save other people's lives. You can find us there, man. If you want to stay sober, go to a meeting every day. And when you're there, come up and say hi to Guy and JR and Sean, because we're going to be there. We love you all, and we want you all to stay clean and stay sober and keep doing the 4-Point Plan. Yeah.